You're here to keep us in line, especially me. So it'll be.
I don't need to keep you in line,
dude. I'm like the rowdy ass that you have to like. Come on, you kind of go like, yeah, simmer down, boy, simmer down a little bit, you know.
You are,
and you definitely just got. Man, you just did to me what Vash does to you, man. You just did me dirty, dude. God.
Well, I told him if we're gonna fight, all I gotta do is lather myself in olive oil, and his entire martial art is over.
Damn! If truer words have not been spoken. What's up, everybody? It is. God damn it! What am I doing? I'm just not thinking of Reman lathered up in olive oil, and I can't.
You just got.
You're welcome.
Let's go.
Like what
every else
night?
Can I say except you're welcome? You're welcome.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Overachievers Gaming Podcast, Marvel Strike Force Insider Edition. I think this is episode 32. With me, your boy Ash Pastrami, got Chef Crondo, and the lovely RemanX filling in for Vash, who is away on work. Reman, thank you so much, as always, for coming through, giving us your wisdom, your dad logic, your overall perfect positive energy that you give back to this community, and that just envelops you always. So thank you so much for being here.
You got it, guys. Thank you guys for having me. It's always a pleasure. One of my favorite things to do when I'm invited.
I know I'm late, but congratulations on your Twitch partnership, and like Ash, Ashley was saying.
Oh my god!
Because Ashley was just talking about this while I was downstairs. But like, I'm glad that you have assumed the throne. Because I disregard OMG. I mean, I know he's in his own. He's an excellent person, but I prefer your content over that. And when Casino got dethroned as like the face, I'm glad that you kind of stepped up and took that position, because you're like way better of a person for a source of information and more level-headed.
That's the wonderful thing about this shit is no matter what you want to watch or who you like, there's a personality of a streamer for you, right?
Yeah.
And I definitely think it goes without saying that Reman has the personality a lot of us can dig with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as an older person, it's I guess OMG and Valley kind of fit into more of like
as an older person.
Well, no, whatever. I'm 35, but I'm just saying like OMG and Valley are more like entertainment. That like they have that kind of like Valley. I mean, Valley's like into that like WWE kind of like announcer style.
Oh yes,
which is like his thing. I'm not knocking.
Do you remember he came in when we PvP'd? He was just Macho Man the whole time.
Yeah,
he wouldn't
the
get
Macho
out of
Man Valley Savage, dude.
He wouldn't get out of that persona.
But
wait, before we go, we have to do. there's a structure here, and Charlie's gonna yell at me if I don't do it.
Go.
You can find us at beingoverachiever.com, Instagram og.podcast, Twitter overachieversp, and every streaming podcast platform that your heart desires. And Reman, please tell the people where they can find you.
Twitch.tv/RemanX, YouTube /RemanX.
And don't forget, Reman has a phenomenal Discord.
RemanX Force.
RemanX Force, wonderful. But I think you're absolutely right, Josh, and there is so many personalities, and our niche little corner that we've had for so long in Marvel Strike Force, where there's only really a handful, if that, of streamers, is bigger and bigger every day. I swear to, like last night I was watching this one woman. Oh my god, I feel so bad. I forgot her name. There's a new. What's that? Nora. Yes. A new streamer right there.
I hang out with all those new streamers, try to encourage them. It's important to actually have this, get more people in the space. It's a lot more fun.
Exactly. The more the merrier. It's never going to be like obviously like Fortnite where there's a million people streaming it, but we are in such a small community that the more diversity of content, the better. It'll never hurt.
I think there's 5 people streaming it right now for about 150 viewers. If I was thinking about it right now.
Yeah. Which, I mean, what's the player base at? Like what? Like I think they estimated like 1.5 million or something like that. Is it like something?
It's hard to say, but it fluctuates. But that's the big deal. That's something we can talk about later too.
Yeah. So it's been a bit since the MSF Insider podcast has recorded, a couple weeks at least, and since then we've had a couple new characters, some couple events here and there. What has been going? Because obviously I'm out of the loop, but I would love to hear from y'all.
Last time we met, they were just announcing the release of Domino and
yes.
Oh my God, why is Negasonic, Teenage Warhead, and X-23, and we are just now currently The X-Force.
The X-Force. X gonna give it to you.
The X gonna give it to you. And they're a fantastic squad. I'm sure that Reman has more to say about that than I, because mine is still at like 180k. But they're good for cleanups on mercs, and they do it very well.
Good for
cleanups. Or if I come across if I come across like a lower merc team, because I am like a lower person in my alliance, so like they serve the job and they're doing well. So
What are you, like 5.5?
I'm at 6.4 million.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So, but I'm like the 8th lowest in my alliance. So, I'm kind of on cleanup duty on most times. So, but anyways, that's
Reman, what's your X-Force look? Because yours is like a 400k, isn't it? Your X-Force?
Mine? Oh, 515k.
515. So yours is
all G14.
That's I mean,
What?
and I think, jeez.
Wait, all
Your
in
team
on
can
it,
take
man.
anything, right? Like
RemanX
has
Force
to.
at Twitter.
He has to. He has to.
Part of the brand.
It's the brand, baby. He's got it.
I know.
He's got it.
And was it worth it? Was it worth it?
Yes and no.
Okay, and
Oh.
can we dive deeper on that?
Yeah, of course. That's what I'm here. So, I think there's probably a phenomenal character that's released to that patch that I think a lot of people probably will talk about, and they'll never talk about it again, so that she doesn't wind up as a premium exclusive, which will be X23. Mm-hmm. So she's actually kind of like the featured unit on the team. The way her speed bar manipulation works when she gets a character to half health, to some of the other abilities that she has. When a character blocks, she can still ability block. It does not get resisted, which is something that the kit doesn't clearly state.
Right.
NTW, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, is another phenomenal character with the barrier and her speed up on enemy turns, so the more enemies you have, sometimes there could be scenarios where we would use her in other regards, but I will tell you that overall, I don't like war offense and war defense teams with our current power creep, and I'll tell you why.
Why is that?
It requires G14 to overcome something like Asgard. And a lot of people are struggling with that type of scenario because people have brought members, specifically Hela or others, to ED3. And I think that's part of the problem, is when you're expecting them to perform and do something, that it's going to be limited by gear. And I think that's why I see a lot of people fail.
Yeah. I've noticed lately that it's the game, because I've been playing Disney a little bit, Disney Sorcerer's Arena, and it's funny because I was telling my friend that I feel like I have so much to do, but then we got in the comparison of like, that's like the trend with these games, right? Once you get to the end game, what do I have left to do? And at the current moment, I have two choices. I'm sure you're already past this, but for myself, I have two choices. I can work on war teams, or I can work on my DD3 teams. And I've been noticing more and more at my level of play that if you're gonna go in on an Asgardian team like you're talking about, if you run into somebody that did that trio with Sif, Thor, and Hela, and they've got a G14 version of it, and they have like a tiny Heimdall and a tiny Loki, if you underestimate it, it's not going to go well for you. So
100%.
I'm noticing the extreme impact of G14 on these teams, and it's kind of like a good and a bad thing, because I feel like with the Fun in the Sun event, they did a really good job of allowing us to really go all in on acquiring a good amount of T14 mats. I personally got 3 people done by doing the whole thing, and I'm free to play.
What was that event?
So basically, there were two sides of this. You could open up orbs. They had different premiums, reds, golds. I think you could open up the war orbs and the raid orbs, and you could get chimichangas for it. So then once you did that, you can open up the chimichangas, and you could open up either an orange, purple, or a blue version of this. And you had to it was kind of like what was the last event they did? Was it the anniversary that was like that? Yeah,
the 2-year anniversary, and then did a Cyclops event, which was similar.
Right. So it was tough. It was a grind, but man, I tell you what, as a free-to-play player, I felt like that was one of the best events they've done.
So if you want to talk a little about controversy from that event, part of the problem was there was you weren't earning orbs based on completion of. So basically, there's a portion earned when you do blitz. You got a cat behind you.
He just snuck up in there too.
He sneezed too. Yeah,
she's stealing the show. That's awesome. Actually,
sorry,
that's fine.
I need to go get my cat now.
So I didn't catch a sneeze. That's super cute.
He did, dude. He just popped his head in there and sneezed and caught everybody off guard.
So the thing about it was there was a couple of problems. So the first problem was they weren't awarding the 1,000 orbs, I guess, was bug, or the 100 orbs was bugged. So it had no
A bug.
Yeah, a bug. Surprise bug.
MSF and a bug? No
So
way.
there were no 100 orbs earned in the first time, and they responded to that relatively quickly. They said, we'll get this fixed, and when they fixed it, they also changed the number of times that they got to 1,500 and the 2,000. So those people with the spreadsheets were like, uh-oh, you guys scaled it back, and they were like, oh, yeah, we got it back for you. So what happened was, it was over a holiday weekend, so, and the other part of that was the orbs were bugged.
Jeez.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yeah, they had
double. It's like double.
The first
They had a
first
completed.
wave,
They had a completed mini unique, but not just a completed mini unique. They had a 5 drop. Yeah, it was pretty.
I know.
Insane.
Did you get any of those?
Oh yeah.
I only got 2. I was kind of bummed, dude. Everybody's posting in the brag channel. They're like, "Oh, look at all this crap I got!" And I'm opening up mine, and it's like,
If
you
you'd
guys
like
don't
to
want to
see,
be me.
if you'd like to see, my Mystic characters are set for some time.
Oh, sure.
Parchments. I got parchments.
That's the thing I wanted the most because the lattices are so hard to come by, for me at least. Everybody's different, I feel like.
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, it was that they actually did a decent job of recovering from that, but at the same time I have to agree with you. It was a little bit it was so sweet and sour because, like, you know, you're grinding through, you have an estimate and an idea in your head of like how long it's going to take you to do it, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait a second. They're going to shift it on you again, and they're going to take away the 1,000 orbs, and now you get more consistently 100, and it's like, wait a minute,
yeah.
like...
So it was one of those things where it almost...
I'll trade you.
It's okay.
He's just going off, man. He's like, hell
boy.
yeah. I hate
He's like,
Fox.
where's the
Snacks."
snacks?
He's definitely he feels you're up. He senses the vibe that you're upset about it. So the idea is there is a fundamental problem. But from a perspective as a player is so they found out that the orb was bugged. They announced it would be unbugged when they got back to the offices on Monday. So it was the holiday weekend over July 4th weekend. So so that it would entice people to buy them.
Of course. What a brilliant coincidence.
What a brilliant mistake.
What a brilliant coincidence. I love that. That's a good way
What
to
a
put
brilliant
it.
mistake. That's it.
Right.
You know, so.
Right. Man.
Is it that? Is that a mistake though? Like,
You'll never know. We'll never know. The bottom.
We'll never know. I mean,
the bottom line is
we have to
everybody
assume
got
it
more
is.
orbs as a result. They did a decent job of compensation. If you paid
Sure.
for them, you were going to pay for them probably anyway. There were very few people that were on that cusp, but I'm going to pay for them to get this done.
You know what you just said is, I think, a very important thing. If you're going to pay for them, you're going to pay for them anyway. And I think that, granted, obviously, bugs suck. Not having the game perform the way it's meant to is annoying and frustrating, whatever. But if you were going to pay for them, you were almost certainly going to pay for them anyway. I think that's an important thing to remember when people talk about spending for the game. People who are spending on the game were already going to spend on the game. Yeah. And I think that people spending on the game sometimes get there's like this weird stigma about like whales, people spending on the game. But like, they're going to spend on the game. They're going to do it anyway. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. Just deal with it. People are spending on the game. This game will survive because people are spending money on it.
It was a lot of blitzing, and if you don't have the time to do it, you're gonna pay the money to get that stuff done. Because
it's the holiday weekend.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fortunate that, you know, I work for myself, so it's like, you know, I have the time. I can just break out the phone and put it on my desk and just let, you know, do its thing, and it doesn't affect me too much. But if you're one of those people that works in retail, or, you know, you have like a manual labor job, there's no way you're going to be able to keep up on the blitz. Like, there's just no way. So, like, what do? Throw the money out there.
Yeah, get some more shit, yeah.
That's just the nature of the beast. But I still think it's funny about the beautiful mistake or coincidence that we talk about.
No, I think that's very fair. That's very fair, yeah.
In the midst of the events, and they happen. Didn't that happen with the one previous to that as well? With the why am I blanking out on the event that was right before this, where we had to blitz for orbs?
Yeah, let's just leave it alone. But if you're blitzing for orbs, you're going to either be paid to do it, or you're
going to spend the time.
The idea was we thought that maybe they were trapping them for the, there was that because they had the what was it, the orb that you got? Anyway, they had the milestone, so it looked like they might have trapped some of the blitz spotters, because they actually, in all this, they actually came out and they said officially that you have received your last warning. Blitz spotting will no longer be tolerated. So these things could have all been done to kind of, you know, examine to see who was blitz spotting. And there were rumors that people got canned.
I heard there were some bannings. There
was a guy that put a post up the other day on Reddit, and he was talking about a guy in his alliance that had been banned and was open about using the bot, and he received a 3-day ban and then came back and was just back to business as usual and kept botting again. And basically the guy was just like, hey, can you guys just like permanently get rid of this guy instead of giving him a temporary ban, because it's really not stopping him from doing what he's doing. And from what I heard is that what they did is they put some kind of line of code in the game that essentially allows them, when the response gets sent, that they can see what third-party applications are being used on your Android device. So they were able to pick out what was going on there. So, like, let's say your BlueStacks or whatever was running an auto clicker, like it could see that happening in the background. So, which I thought was pretty cool. I was I don't know anybody else that knows me. I was wildly curious how they were going to actually like figure this out. And when I found out, I was like, okay, well, I guess that's the way it gets done. So, but it hasn't stopped it. I know people that are still blitzbotting. I'm not going to call them out or anything like that. But they're going to do what they want to do. And I tried to warn them, but what's going to end up happening is one day people are going to wake up and they're just going to get the ban hammer, and it's going to be ugly, and it's going to be it's going to crush a lot of alliances. I tell you, if it happens, it's going to break up a few groups of people, and it's going to suck. But that's the risk.
That's the risk you take when you choose to do.
Yeah, and I think that's the point. Is without going into specifics, there's always going to be some element of
exploitation,
cheating, things along those lines. So. We'll kind of move on from that. I think that's, I think we kind of,
let's talk about
the fact that they're actually engaging in it, have spoken out against it, are too big.
Oh,
steps.
it's huge considering they've skirted around it for so long.
Sure.
And harsh skirting too, like not even acknowledging it. But so we got two new teams, not necessarily new teams, but characters that make teams, X-Force, and also we have the Young Avengers with Squirrel Girl. Mm-hmm. And I know it's funny because I feel like there's a lot of hype with Squirrel Girl. Everyone thinks that Squirrel Girl was going to be like a huge deal. Mm-hmm. Reman, I saw you got Squirrel Girl to Gear 14, and your Squirrel Girl is pretty beefy. How do y'all feel with Squirrel Girl and the Young Avengers?
Interesting team. It feels like they're missing a member, so it kind of feels like 100%. It feels like the Marauder spot is there. Obviously, there's some people that can hold the place of it, but she's not going to be an impact on War or Ward.
So who's the team right now with Squirrel Girl?
You could use so there's actually probably 3 teams. You can use Captain Marvel is probably one of the most popular ones. You can use
Miss Marvel,
OG Spider-Man. There's this. So the Young Avengers have their own team, which features Miss Marvel, Spidey Miles, America Chavez, and Squirrel Girl. So you're talking about. So you're talking about the.
That's the 4 characters.
That's the 4 characters. So there's a 5th character, which would be OG Spidey, Captain Marvel, or the ever popular. What are they thinking? Ultimus until you fight him.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, because I saw your stream when you went live. Also, your daughter was very adorable.
Yeah. She learned how to swear from Uncle Crondo. That's the problem.
No. Oh, wait, actually? It was Crondo's fault that she sweared?
No,
oh, God. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me, but, I would have felt terrible about that.
That would have been so funny.
Yeah.
I remember, what did she kept saying? Crushing your nuts or something? Yeah. I don't know.
Well, it's kick butts and eat nuts. That's her saying. So she actually...
Kick butts and eat nuts.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
That's awesome.
So she actually knows the character very well. In fact, she's downloading Marvel Strike Force today so she can get her.
Just start playing. Look at that. A new player enters the arena.
She wants to hang out with Dad, so.
That's awesome.
There you go. And you're just going to crush her in PvP, obviously.
Yeah, I crushed her before me. She's all done.
Yeah, she's like, Dad, look, I got a 7 Red Star Ravager Stitcher.
You're gonna be like, oh, kid.
Yeah. Sorry, kid.
Actually, knowing her luck, she'll get them all. She'll be fine.
She's gonna get them all.
She'll be like, hey, Dad, is this 7 Red Star Phoenix? Is this good?
Yeah,
right.
Happen.
So what is the overall feeling? But so it's just generally we feel like we're missing someone then.
Yeah,
it just feels like an incomplete team. Just like kind of like Power. Well, I don't want to say Power Armor, but pre
Marauders
or Marauders. Yeah, actually Marauders would be the better example. But with that said, Emma's kit looks awesome, in my opinion. I think.
Oh, you're jumping ahead. Jeez, go right.
Did I jump ahead?
We'll talk about Emma. We'll talk about Emma. We'll talk about what's coming in a minute. We'll talk about what's coming in. Let's just say we got the gist of it.
False start. My bad.
We know. Everyone knows what happened. Let's move into what's coming ahead. So because. Again, I'm just watching people stream. That's the information I'm getting right now. Yeah. So we have Beast and Emma Frost. I think I saw the new intro screen is both of them, right?
Correct. It's got all 3 of them.
Yeah. So we can talk about Squirrel Girl a little bit. One of the things was, I don't know if you guys watched the tournament. So there was actually something interesting. Based on her usage, she was actually utilized between her and Ghost Rider, were probably 2 of the surprise picks in PvP. For balanced PvP was because of what she does with the cleanse. So so the team isn't bad. They're just obviously missing someone. And I think I think there are some uses for her. So then we talk about Beast with the X-Men. So that's kind of like the road ahead. Probably it looks like Beast will be the next character just based on the way that he was featured in the blog before Emma Frost was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna be doing a Beast cosplay. We already showed you guys what it would look like. We're gonna do it. I'm not doing another 24-hour stream. My wife told me she doesn't want to bury me young.
Right, exactly. Right.
So
I loved the Kratos, by the way. That was fantastic.
Kratos is pretty good. Yeah.
I look forward. Are you going to paint yourself blue, like for real?
Yeah, I absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely. There's going to be a wig because I can't grow hair like that. But the beard will have some unique characteristics.
You can get a blue wig.
Yeah, I've been looking. I can't find the right wig, but
you get the front. Yeah, no, you get the front growth, man. Just
get a chia pet and spray paint it blue. Put it on your head.
Does it work like that?
You know. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Charlie's wife is hair and makeup.
Is she really? So, dude.
So probably 6 or 7 years ago for Halloween, I was Macho Man, and we were on location on a shoot in I think North Carolina, and I needed everything for the next day when we flew back. So I went to some Halloween store in North Carolina, and I got a wig, and she cut it all up to be more in the vein of Macho Man. It worked out perfectly.
Oh wow! Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah,
she's really talented. Actually, she got some really cool stuff on her Instagram.
Awesome, perfect. That's
But yeah, so Beast. I have mixed feelings about his kit. I feel like
what's the kit laid out?
Oh, I don't have.
I can lay it out for. I can lay it out for you. So basically, the bottom line is there was a data mine kit versus the current kit, and basically
and the data mine kit was a while ago, right?
Yeah.
That actually got data mined a bit ago,
months ago.
So we offer some of the team the same thing. So let's just put it this way: his abilities are basically he buffs the team. He also, he heals on his passive, and he heals X-Men additionally. So the drawback you have, where a lot of people are figuring how this is going to work, is obviously with the speed up and the offense up. That's something that the team wasn't getting before. So that's something that's actually really cool. And then additional source for defense up for probably early game players who may not have access to Phoenix right away. And the fact that he does have an ability that does damage even when he's healing, so it's not a bad deal. But the drawback with the kid is, do you really want a team that's healing Phoenix? Does that go against the grain of what we're doing? Does it really?
It depends. Right. It depends. Like, is it one of those things? I mean, it's situational. So, are you in the situation where she can turn Dark Phoenix real quick, and then the team starts getting healed constantly, or is he just going to prevent her from going to Dark Phoenix, which is eventually going to lead to your demise because you want her to be able to pop off and remove the debuff or the buffs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but I mean, the thing that I thought I read into it was that Beast is going to make the X-Men more raid viable. That was the thing that I actually wanted to ask you about, because I didn't understand completely in his kit why that was the case. And when I had said something about it, somebody in my alliance pointed out the whole thing about how he can, with him and I think it's one or two other X-Men in the team, if somebody dies, they still get the 3 stars on the mission.
So that's not a raid. So what happens with this is that he has a very unique ability. It's the first time we've seen this as an actual ability. So it is passive, basically. Even if a character is dead, it counts as, with a 2-star, will count as a 3-star completion. So
so that enables them to be able to do it with Phoenix for the most part. Yeah, but I guess I'm missing the part about what makes him, or what about him makes that team raid viable? Is it just because of the healing?
Well, yeah. Or? I mean, if you have heals, that's kind of the big deal. The fact that you're applying offense up, defense up, and regen, the double heal and the passive for the heals for the X-Men are pretty high. There's been some discrepancy. I don't know if you guys know this, but it looks like people are now saying that the stats that we had did not include the Stark Tech when they were released. So we probably will have some more health than we are seeing. I don't know if that's something I've heard kind of in the background, because they're like, wait a minute, that's not those aren't the stats that we.
Well, his stats seemed low in the health department.
So we'll have to take a look at that. So it looks like his health was low, so therefore his heals were low. He does give himself energy, but his ability is a 6 cooldown. So there was concern that he wasn't speeding up a team for long enough for it to be viable. The other thing that happened was the interaction with the additional kits. So the idea is, like, if you look at the kits, he gives when he's a member of the team. When Storm Basics, she gets 2 charged. So there's some additional text on the kit. So it's not just her kit; it was the kit. The surrounding kits were affected by this too. So that's something you had to look into a little bit more in depth.
Hey, Rem, real quick, do you have the ability to turn your input up a little bit, just a tiny bit?
It should be maxed here. Let me move it.
Oh, really? So, someone just saying they can't hear you as well.
Just take a look. It might be the SquadCast setting here.
Yeah, I actually don't know if he has the ability to mix incoming in SquadCast. If not, it's all good because I'll have your individual.
Yeah,
anyway.
Is that any better? Because I moved the mic just a little bit closer to the mouth. Is that?
It's probably just that.
You sound pretty good to me. But
I mean, you sound great. I mean, you look great. You sound great. We
look great. Jeez, it's
yeah. So in terms of what is there like what is the team then with adding Beast? What is the X-Men team? What's the 5
I think
people?
it's Phoenix, Colossus, Beast, Storm, and then I actually don't know. Like, are you supposed to use Cyclops and get rid of Wolverine, or are you supposed to?
Each kit has a little bit of enhancement, so you can take a look. There's an enhancement on each one. So honestly, it really depends on the situation. So.
I mean, see, and I think that is good because I mean, this whole game could be X-Men characters for how many there are, right? Like, there's so many. So, what I do like is have more characters for more situations, and like the fact that you can swap characters out for whatever situation you're going into is what we need, right? I mean,
yeah. Well, this is a big deal because we're seeing these are 3 support characters, so we're seeing support in a new category where we haven't gone away from that as an overall supplement to the game. So. It's just a whole patch featuring three support characters, which is kind of cool. So that means that you can make them more raid viable. Maybe they're more viable in DD3 for you. The drawback with, like I said, and I'll probably go through a quick rundown of like what the pluses, minuses of the X-Force and stuff like that as like a recap right before we do the end of the session for you guys. But I think the thing about the kit is Beast was data mined. And it looked to be awesome, just kind of like Cyclops was when we had those data mine sites. They walked those back significantly. And so the version that we got, so I said 3 things needed to happen to make him viable for every game mode. And that was high speed, which he got 116, so it's not terrible. So he acts okay. The drawback is he's acting with his speed. When you do when you do the health rebalance for the health for the special for Phoenix on turn 1, he's going to heal her up. So it's kind of like what?
Right.
What? Okay. Well,
like that's not good. I want Phoenix, every time I use Phoenix, I want her dead.
Well, unless you're raiding, and that's the question: is this enough to keep her alive? But even as you go up in difficulty, that's kind of the problem.
It just doesn't. I don't know, man. Like something about that team. Like I just don't. I wouldn't.
Yes.
I mean, it's good for like a throwaway. For like your situationally, maybe you got like a node like halfway down, you lost your team, and you only really need to clear one more. Like they're good to throw in there, but I mean,
that's all.
Well, I think with this team, I think they'll probably be able to complete a node and maybe even specific nodes. And there is some talk about combining him with Sinister and having just a parade of buffs going around. So there are teams that on there as an X-Men total team. I don't know that they're going to be just on their own raid viable because the problem you have is so let's talk. There's different raids, right? There's U7, and then there's the scale. As you go up the scale, there's a lot of AoE damage that'll one shot if you don't have offense down or defense up, and more importantly, probably offense down as you go up in higher levels. They're doing 300.
What's that one node where War Machine has his ultimate charged for first turn, and if you don't get offense down, he's just like, bye.
There's a lot of them.
I love it, dude.
Yeah. So that's like, it's almost like where they doubled down on Yo-Yo's usefulness as they threw her into premium warps. That being said, it's honestly, if you're going in the higher level difficulties, you either bought or invested in Yo-Yo at some point. That's the idea. That's part of the power creep. The earlier ones, you don't have to rely on her as much. You can rely on the defense up from Shuri. So that being said, there's definitely kind of a two-phase product. If you try to go up in difficulty, you're going to need that offense down. So, as a raid team, looking at them as just X-Men, I don't think it's enough to keep Storm viable. The thing about it is inside his kit with Storm, on Storm Special, which is the one where you have the chance to stun. So if you build up charges, it's like guarantees a stun. It has a 50% chance not to consume charges. So it's kind of like, okay, great. Well, that's absolutely useless for a 50% chance for it to actually become a problem.
And taking that chance could be life or death of a team.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah. So
not even that. So basically, if you're using them to power her up and use it on the final boss node because you want to use do 2 million damage, that's the problem you're going to have is you're not going to be able to get it off because she's going to be dead.
Right.
She's not going to have those charges. So you got a 50% chance to keep them.
Right. Fair. Very fair. Interesting. Yeah, it's funny because even when I was playing, I never thought the conversation would be bringing X-Men into a raid, just because it was always such a foreign thing to think of. It was never but now that Beast's coming, it's funny that's even the conversation coming.
So I think he's kind of like, I don't think I can really, I will probably get him to showcase him. So you guys, like I said, I do things you don't have to, but I don't think I can recommend him.
Yeah,
I don't think
for raids at all.
He's gonna be a luxury character.
Yeah,
he's gonna be a new player featured character for players who bought that new X-Men pack that's out there. He's probably somebody who's gonna do something.
Right.
So a lot of these characters are great for new players coming to the game. They're gonna expand on what they're either have access to or are using. So that's kind of
are these new? Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
Do you think that that's actually like a tactic that they're doing on purpose because they are working on appeasing us at the end game community, and they're also trying to maybe give options to people that are newer in the game and kind of give incentive to say, okay, you don't have to go with the shoebox team. Like, we're coming out with this character and you don't have all the X-Men together. So maybe it's best for them to get Beast right away, as opposed to someone like us who already have fully developed X-Men teams.
Well, I think that's actually, if they're doing that intentionally, phenomenal.
Agreed. When I started, I did Defenders, which was the most boring shit ever. I mean, that's what most people do. I feel like is you start with Defenders, and if there's another team you can start out with, like X-Men, it's phenomenal.
Well, if you buy the X-Men pack, that's 180 of each character. So, but I mean, from a perspective of letting you, because Cyclops is still unfarmable. So the idea comes down to this: is the support characters have use outside of their team. They also enhance the teams they have, and all three of these characters, with the exception of Emma Frost, are not war specific, and the stuff that Emma Frost gets in war is good, but it doesn't make her non-viable in other categories.
Well, let's talk about Emma Frost. All right,
I like Crondo because he has he's ready.
Well, you got something to say, Josh? You mad?
Oh, I'm happy. I'm excited about it.
You're excited.
I'll tell you. No, I'm super excited.
Oh, okay.
I love, like, Emma was my first character. I got a 4 and 5 star in Contest of Champions.
Yeah.
So like, I really grew to like her character. I didn't know anything about her, and as I was like
she's a
working
wild
through the entire game, I was like, I got to look her up. So I started like looking into who she is. She's actually like a badass.
Yeah, she's bad.
Yeah, and so I like the fact that she rounds out the Marauders team, which I have a fat Marauders team. So for me, I'm excited about that. I mean, even though it's a war defense team.
Don't you have like a ridiculous Strife or something? Or am I thinking something?
I have a 5 red star Strife. I got a 5 red star Sinister. I've got a 5 red star Sabretooth. And
it's pretty well done, yeah.
I think 4 red star Mystique. So I mean, look, for me, it's a good team.
I'm not saying a word.
I know you're not, but I mean, so I am assuming that you also are looking forward to what her capabilities are, because I think honestly, like, I think the biggest gripe with that team is that Strife is
sucks.
a halfway decent tank, right? So with her in the party, though, she actually makes him a bit of a better tank, in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, it could still be one of those situations where you could take an Aimtron team in there and just crap on it, no problem.
Right.
But
so Aimtron's not going to work anymore, because you're not going to be able to put debuffs on a target, because we'll talk a little bit about the kit if you really want to go into details. So
I did. I'm very curious.
So one of the cool things about her kit is, first, they did a really good job, I think, honoring what she does in probably the lore, with only really 3 abilities and a passive. So the fact that she's an Omega level, mind control is going to be kind of there. Plus the fact that she can turn into
full undestructible fucking stone.
She could,
dude, she's the white
diamond,
queen.
The diamond.
Yeah, so the diamond form. So one of the things about it is, so when she has that charged ability, she's like in full on diamond form, and so she's like got a ton of armor and a ton of resist. So you're not landing anything, and so I think she starts in war like with that. The next thing that she does that's very unique is on her passive. So I think this is the biggest impact I think it'll have on the game. Period. Is she's actually going to be the first character to affect the opponent's speed, not speed bar, but speed. So she's going to be adding 10% speed. Okay, negative 10% speed. And the cool part...
Oh, you mean like their base, their base speed?
It looks like their base speed. And so the interesting part about this is as a new player, and you get her, she does this at the first tier. She only really gets her... Like the rest of her tiers is the on heal percentage. So she's actually going to be a good character for like a starter character. Like if you get access to her, she's going to be a phenomenal character. She's always going to be able to make that team. So from a PvP perspective, from changing the way that you're doing certain fights, the fact that she goes in line. So let's say you bring Aimtron in there. Well, by the time her team goes, they're going to be removing those buffs. Because that's what's going to happen is she's going to go and those buffs are going to get removed. So it's actually pretty powerful. The fact that she does so she's got a very interesting mind control because she calls units to attack. So it's kind of like a Loki ult, but it's a little bit different. So they get called to attack from her ability. She blinds the target, so the target is alive when it's done. It's blind. But the 2 highest damage for either her team or enemy team. So if you bring a big beefy team in there, they're calling the highest attack damage on both targets. And if that person dies, they apply bleed to the next target. So
like adjacent or just the next person they hit. How does that work? What do you mean?
So it is basically she targets somebody, and then it goes to the next. What is it? Speed bar? I believe it's speed bar. It's either speed bar or attack. I think so. What happens is it targets somebody randomly, so it could be a taunt.
Right.
So it'll call 2 people, either the highest to attack on both teams.
Right.
And then if that target's dead, it'll now target the next highest speed character.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, so
if the primary target is killed,
intense.
apply blind to the non-summoned enemy with the most speed
Yeah.
bar.
Dang.
Yeah, so it is speed bar.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's like there's so many cool things here. They've got
the diamond form ability looks incredible.
Yeah, it's immunity.
Does it?
If charged, clear charged. Bury yourself for 20% of this character's max health. Clear all negative effects from self and all allies. Apply immunity to self and all mutant villain allies. So that's
right.
And it's better.
Yeah.
Apply slow to all enemies and gain
She's
charged.
so good. She's gonna be somebody you can apply to. Okay. I might say she could be a DD3 viable character.
I actually was going to agree with you. I mean,
does she make this sounds like Marauders is now going to be top
Marauders are going to be very
Emma?
dangerous, and people are not going to know how to beat them right away.
Right.
I agree, but I mean, it's kind of classic, right? That they make it this way because they I mean, don't they always like kind of in wars they'll give it an offensive team an advantage and then or they'll give a defensive team an advantage and then like a couple weeks later they'll come out with some kind of team that can beat it. Oh yeah, Black Order. Well, I mean, Black Order still probably could beat this team very.
It would be interesting
not.
because you don't forget you can clone a character, and depending on what character you clone, you got immunity. So a lot of what they do is debuffs, but they also flip because you're controlling Black Order. You're going to be flipping the buff, so that could be immunity or it could wind up being disrupt. So you're in control of that. So it's one of those things though where it's going to change your matchups, right? So a lot of times you probably have a matchup that you're like, I'm going to use my Black Order if I see this team. So it's going to change the matchup. So from a war scenario, it'll change the matchups, but it will make Marauders a lot more powerful.
I mean, to say the least.
And a lot of people have a fat Marauders team already.
Yeah.
So it's like, just plug her in there, and you're going to have a really good war defensive team.
And the thing is, so she also spawns and gives defense up for 2 turns to the team. So that
for 2
that's
turns.
on spawn.
Yeah, so that means that like the Strife that doesn't have defense up on its own is getting it.
Dude,
yeah.
While charged, gain 400% armor and 500% resistance. Like, she is going to be so beast mode.
She has the highest focus stat in the game, so it's
it's
going to be crazy because she's flipping buffs too on her basics. So it's pretty insane.
I love how every. Go ahead.
No, please.
I love how every one of her abilities are just fat. Like it's not like her, like even her basic attack primary target for 290% damage, flip 2 positive effects to negative effects. If charged, attack primary target for 340% damage, plus clear 2 positive effects instead. I mean, that's like. That's
pretty big. That's pretty big stuff.
Like every one of her abilities do something really, really good. It's not like one of those characters where she has two attacks and then her main one is just does damage or something like that. It's like she actually is a full, and she's on the legendary. That's the other thing. Like that she's better than some of the
right. Do we know how we get her? Has it been announced?
They said they did. It was in a blog.
Did they?
How we getting her?
She doesn't have the event
said they said look forward to her in the Diamond Blitz.
Oh, of course.
Oh, okay.
Well, have fun with that.
I will
have fun.
Yeah, they did say. I'm right.
I will.
I think that was in a blog, right? I read the.
Why do you think I was
sense.
trying to win those iTunes gift cards at this wedding shower?
Right, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, no, true. That sounds really fun. And you're thinking X-Force will be the
I think
starting...
X-Force can beat most teams with adequate power. The thing about it is they're a very fast team, so there really isn't much they can do to stop it. They're going to be doing a lot of offense down. They're going to clear that defense up on spawn. So they're going to be able to get through a lot of the defenses. So X-Force will probably beat the team if you have a comparable power one. I don't think it's going to be a punch-up scenario. There's just less of a damage, or less of an element of ruin to it.
Well, you know what they say, X gonna give it to you.
X gonna give it to you.
Some would say. Anything else you guys are excited for coming on the horizon besides Beast and Emma Frost? Anything we know of? Any cool events? Any cool
There's
stuff coming up?
one more rumor. I don't know if you guys heard about it.
Oh my God! Please do.
Are you talking about the one the Valley just covered?
Did he cover it?
Your boy
Go ahead, say it.
Your boy loves gossips.
Well, I mean, it's. Are you talking about the next legendary character?
Oh, Doc Ock.
Dr. Octopus.
Yo, Doc Ock.
What? Okay. So in your stream the other day, Reman, I'm so happy you brought this up because I forgot. You said pretty much confirmed. Why? How do we know?
So we know that they're at least working on it. It looks like there's a legendary event the data mines look like they're working towards a legendary event that's going to use X-Force to unlock it. So that's a data mine. So we don't know for sure. Right. And when I say pretty much confirmed, the fact is that there is some data mines that show Doc Ock on there. So we don't know when it's released.
Right. Interesting choice of a legendary.
I knew it was going to be the damn X-Force.
So the thing about it is they can still change it, and that's the thing is, right? That's something that is very, very...
Which we've seen before. We've seen data mines change before.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But I think that Doc Ock is a really cool character, especially in the last probably 6 or 7 years comic wise. The dude has gone through one of the biggest transformations of probably any character in the Marvel universe, and I say that from reading comics. I think genuinely. But interesting choice of a legendary though. Like, is he legendary status? Is Doc Ock legendary status for a character? Like, why Doc Ock? Why not Emma? I think Emma is like more of a character.
So I mean, if we think about legendary characters, I think you could have taken any one of the. You could take any one of the characters from Fantastic Four and make them legendary. The legendary character isn't about what they necessarily bring to the Marvel universe as much as they are to the kit that they have or what the team they have. So we have to just remember that. I don't think it's like, so it's not like we're going to see Silver Surfer's legendary character, even though we might, but so it's always kind of that balance of is Iron Man a legendary character? Sure, he's legendary, but if we go through it, Nick Fury, I get it. But Invisible Woman, Shuri, to some degree, why was she legendary? And again, it's the feature characters that will bring the team up. A legendary in any team,
that's a good point.
Will actually enhance the team. So Sinister Six has been lacking since they've been released, and that was the reason why they were. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a lot of debate over what the unlock was going to be for Invisible Woman, and I was like, Sinister Six, and like, nah, no way, and I'm like, yeah, just because they weren't well received. And I'm like,
that's a good point.
If you're studying out a spreadsheet in a marketing department, you're like, oh, what's going to make us the most money? I mean, it's that's exactly what it does. So, from my perspective, is X-Force going to be it? Well, if X-Force was well received, and it may not be. So it could, these things could always change, but it looks like it.
So you're saying it could be the hand team? Is that what I'm hearing?
They kind of did that with what you kind of already had on your roster with Phoenix, and they made her a 6-star unlock. Mm-hmm. So if they did that, I would expect to see the next legendary be a 6-star unlock. That being said, this is when it was coming out, it was very familiar to. It felt like Asgardians, so it was why I was saying it's almost confirmed because we're starting to see the data mines come out of it. So it looks like the patch notes that they're at least working on it. So it kind of coincides.
I feel like they would choose him out over Emma Frost because I got to be honest with you, dude. Emma Frost is going to sell a shitload of packs for him. Like a lot. Like a lot of people are going to be buying into Emma Frost. And I got to be honest, I don't think that the same amount of people would buy into Dr. Octopus. Like, he's awesome. I'm not knocking him. I just feel like fan favorite Emma's way more popular than Dr. Octopus.
Well, that's the thing is, you got to think about it, right? Any legendary is going to generate a ton of money.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So an iconic character like Symbiote Spider-Man doesn't have to be legendary, even though he's a legendary kit.
God, he's so good, though, man.
He's iconic in that regard. He's probably, I think, one of the top, 3 most recognizable. The the symbiote version of Spider-Man. Like, it was one of the best stories of all time.
Yeah. I think this whole it is funny right now hearing the not even debate the conversation of which Doc Ock they're going to use right now, because there's 3 prominent Doc Ocks. We have the new Lady Octopus that's in the Sinister Syndicate, whatever the fuck they call themselves. Sorry for cursing. We have the Sinister.
Oh, you mean in the other universe?
Sinister,
yeah, I know what you're saying.
No. In 616 right now, the new Sinister Six is an all-female team of Scorpia, Lady Octopus, Elektra, and a couple others. And Lady Octopus is currently the Doc Ock of 616. We have the actual Otto Octavius, who's in the clone body of Peter Parker, and he's acting as the West Coast Spider-Man. Oh, yeah. Superior Spider-Man, thank you so much. And then we do have the Spider-Verse Olivia Octavius. And it's interesting, this conversation of who are they going to pick. I mean, I think they're going to do classic. It's going to be like
doesn't matter.
It's just the iconic face of Dr. Octopus. I think it's an interesting conversation. And that's what I love about the Marvel Universe, is that we have so many dang characters, and then we also have whatever alternate version of some other universe that might exist to them. And I think it's fun that it's like, you know, Marvel Strike Force is its own universe within the Marvel Universe. Like, I'm curious what number they would give it, whatever number.
Did they actually talk about that?
Do they? You said?
I thought they did at some point. Maybe I have to look into that.
It's probably in a story. I bet you want to. And also, I would like to say this. When I was playing, one of my favorite things about Marvel Strike Force was the story mode stuff. Like, I think the story of Marvel Strike Force is pretty fun. And I think it's pretty good. And I feel like a lot of times we skip over this shit really fast when we're doing the event stuff. We just want to get to like the hard mode and get as much shards as we can to open up orbs for whatever character we're trying to get from a story campaign. But I think they're fun. I really do. I think it's a good story. But
so I'm hearing that you are so excited about all this stuff coming out that you're considering coming back to this game. That's
no, God, no.
That's what I'm hearing you say.
Never, no, literally never coming back to this game. So what? I sign in every 2 weeks just to keep my account active for my war defense.
So what would it take for you to come back to the game?
If there wasn't if you didn't need to do as much shit to be viable to play the game. If I came back, I would never blitz again.
Blitz Simulator.
Maybe, yeah.
All right, so we'll check it one. Go ahead.
Yeah. If getting characters didn't require so much effort, whether it be from event campaign, from a blitz, from any of these things, if it was more casual. And I know you can choose to play. You can choose to play more casual. But like I said, one of the reasons I stopped playing was because I got too into it as a routine, and it kind of like messed with my head a little bit. And
you feel like it had too much control over your life.
Just my daily routine. Yeah, I just wasn't happy with how, and that was on that can be put on me. The game, the game doesn't force me to play it, but it just became a thing.
Yes and no. I mean, but that's a kind of a rabbit hole conversation, because I got to be honest with you. I've been noticing lately that I spend way too much of my day playing mobile games, so I cut a lot of my stuff off. And MSF has like stayed as the most prominent one that I play for multiple reasons. One, because we always talk about a community. Two, for some reason I've played so many games for X amount of years. For MSF, I've been playing since day one, and I don't know what it is about the current state of the game, but I really like it.
It's good, because for a bit I feel like you were not feeling that. Like, and it's good. That's good.
Yeah, I know, and I took a break, and I really cannot explain to you why I'm enjoying it as much as I am. It might be because of my alliance. It might be because I'm enjoying the characters they're releasing. I don't know what it is, but I feel like it is headed in a good direction.
Well, let me say, I do not for 1 second. I don't think the game is bad. There's problems with it. There's bugs with it. There are things that are annoying to deal with. I don't think the game is bad. Like I said before, I think the writing is very well done. I think it's a very fun story for for those that don't just hit the skip button. I think the characters are awesome. It's characters I've grown up with since I was a kid, and I'm very happy to be able to have them in some cool way, and to mess with them and try different teams out, whatever. I think that was good. I just think that knowing me as a person and how I do things, it's hard for me to get back into a game where I know I fall right back into it where, dude, like my boss says something to my girlfriend, like, sometimes Dom will, they know, but everyone knows that when my phone is like this, they know what's going on. They're not stupid. And I've been caught before at work,
What are you playing now?
Video game wise?
Yeah, just Diablo.
Oh no, Diablo, Division 2, back in the Destiny 2.
Nothing on your phone.
No mobile games.
Okay.
And that's the thing. Mobile gaming allows you to play it mobile. You can play it whenever and whenever, you know? And I think the thing too, Reman, and I want to get back on track in a second. I think that this is the thing too, is now that I am home, like it's easier for me to say this because I'm not outside of my home. But now that I'm home, I have access to my computer, my Xbox, my you know, the stuff to play the games that I quote unquote want to play. It's not that I don't want to play Marvel Strike Force, but it was easy to play it when I was not at home because it's a video game that I can play anywhere, right?
Sure.
And I'm curious if I wasn't stuck inside because of quarantine and stuff, that if I would have quit the game. I don't think I would have.
I think that's the thing, right? Is you quit the game because you were camping and you felt like it was an interference. So I think maybe that I think it was just time. I think you were probably fed up with the.
I think so.
So it was just there was a lot of little things. So
the routine.
I still think the game is great. I'm not going to be playing it. I still come to your stream every goddamn time you're on.
I appreciate
so, you know what I mean?
Like, thank you so much.
You know,
that support
of course
means the world to me. We have a phenomenal community that I think wants to help and learn from each other, and I think it's a great place.
It's great. It's really great. I think that we are very lucky with the collection of streamers that play this game. I think we're genuinely lucky. Tangent,
so I'm actually in the middle of my like, I don't want to say it was a tangent because I was mainly kind of saying how much I like the game. I'm actually curious how you feel about the state of the game right now.
So
I think it's a great question.
So I there's parts of me that love it, and there's parts of me that are frustrated because I still feel like there's still a little disconnect. That I still look at the offers that come across every day, and I still feel like the $39.99 or $29.99 for 50 or whatever still feels a little bit bad. It feels bad, man.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so it's one of those things where I wish they would make less money on more people. You know, it's just basically I wish they would just realize that they can convert more people into a to buying, and it was invited more people to either spend and made things more accessible to everyone. So. Sure. You know, the thing about this is if it's 1.5 million people, think about what would happen if it was 4 million people or 5 million. How many people are they chasing away? Because people are like, what the heck? It's $50 for a brand new character, which, by the way, I'm giving away 5 Emma Frost on my channel. That was unlocked by a couple of viewers. I got over 2,000 subs on Twitch now. They got me, so that meant I unlocked.
You have over 2,000 subscribers on Twitch.
Oh, beautiful! Mazel tov.
So what that did was it unlocked 5 giveaways for Emma Frost. We're going to be doing it. So I expect her to be $50 because she's a 100-star to unlock.
Hot damn, Reman!
Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
What happened, dude? I didn't even know there were that many people that watched the Twitch community.
Here's what happened. There is something about your stream. I don't know if it's specifically to you, Reman. When the hype train starts, I'm noticing your stream really takes it. They take that hype train and they roll with it, and it's like impressive. It's impressive.
Awesome,
all I can say is I use a lot of it to give back to the community. Obviously, I'm a full-time content creator, so transitioning from my previous lifestyle to this one is a little different. So I appreciate it because that's helping me get off the ground. And
so did you? I mean, I'm curious because this is kind of getting off. Well, we're not off topic. We're still talking about Marvel Strike Force, but so you when Corona hit, whatever hit. Did you lose your job?
I lost my job. So basically, what happened was the industry I was in, which was we'll say ISP, they cut back on pretty much every department, and it was only a matter of time. But I was managing the direct sales. All right, so direct sales, which essentially was door to door teams, just were gone. Yeah, good luck. Yeah. Hi, Gigi. We're in our full body, suits here. We're gonna be cold emailing people from now on. The bottom line is the industry just kind of disappeared. So as a result, they were like, "We no longer need you. We'll call you back if we do." And I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna start doing something else." So for me, that specific thing was, I got a little more into streaming Marvel Strike Force. I had been doing it like part time since October. But because sometimes my nights would run late, I wasn't doing it. So I started doing it in March, and then by May I was partner. And it was actually the day of your podcast. Awesome. I found out in an email, like right after the podcast was over. I was like, "Wow!" I
know. I felt bad. That night you were streaming, I was like, "Yo, congrats! Oh my god!"
Did you get that on your first try? I'm just curious. You know what's funny? People always tell me that you never get it on the first try.
That exists for a lot of weird things.
Well, I think that's okay. I mean, honestly, that
it's like,
you know, if the first time you got something, it would feel less rewarding, and more importantly,
possibly.
I think more importantly, there's probably, you know, from a business perspective, can this guy sustain what he's doing? Is he a
I almost think that they do that to vet people that are either easily turned off by something, so that they, like they go in for the Twitch partnership on first time and they get denied and they're like, oh, screw this, I'm not going to do it anymore. And there's the people that actually want to like listen to what they have to say as far as like, hey, nice try, but come back in a couple weeks when you've got more viewers, more whatever. And then if they see the growth, they're like, okay, this dude obviously knows how to take either A, constructive criticism, or B, just knows how to grind it out. So that probably, anyways.
And that's the thing,
that's awesome.
It's like from a perspective of, this community is, there are actually quite a few people. So I think if we went through this, when I do my 24-hour streams, there's something like 8,000 to 9,000 unique viewers who stop by the channel.
Interesting.
Wait, you say it one more time. I read Passing Wind's comment and it completely threw me off track.
What, sustain it like the ladies? Yeah, of course.
PW dropping the
you can't listen to Passing Wind.
PW always comes by and drops something that just takes my attention off.
Does that mean that people are not looking at Marvel Strike Force? Like, what I see? So whenever I see unique viewer, I'm always curious what that means.
Unique viewer just means a unique. So like Canage is a unique viewer. Hellfire's a unique viewer. So there's unique viewers, as in they came to the stream. They were different people that did it.
Meaning, like, they didn't load you up on 3 different devices to give you 3 extra views.
Yeah, so it's a unique viewer in regards to the fact that it was like, let's say I have 300 viewers right now. All right, So 300 viewers over 6 hours isn't just 300 viewers. It could be 1,200 unique viewers. So really, it's like your average viewership is composed of the unique viewers.
Interesting. I never realized 8,000 to 9,000.
Yes, there's actually quite a few people. A lot, so a 24-hour stream kind of let me kind of see where, it's there's a method in my madness. It's kind of like an idea of like where are people, what are people watching, what are people watching, what is the reach. But it's also cool because I break up the giveaway so that each time slot gets a chance to win.
No, that's fair. That's awesome. A very smart way to go. And all of these things, I don't want to sit here and say it's because you have experience and you're a little older and you've gained, you understand how.
Oh, no, that definitely
obviously
helps,
it is,
man.
but I just don't want to shit on young people right now. But I just see a lot of young streamers who gain a platform and they just don't understand how things work. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything you just said is very smart from a business side, from just a logistics side, from all these things, right? And there needs.
Well, that's the thing. They have so many little shits that come on here and think that they just want to get Twitch partnered and make money, and it's like, no. And you know this above
kind of like
your brand
guideline or something.
Your brand,
right?
But you're a brand, like, and you know this above everybody else here, that like when you conduct yourself as a persona, there has to be some kind of strong branding behind you. So they look into this as a factor, and like whether or not you're so popular on this platform or if you're popular on your social media, what attracts your viewers. So the fact that Reman sits down and actually like analyzes his own metrics and makes decisions based off that, that's just like
I'm a brand. Part of it is a business, but it's also understanding like how do I reach the community. How do I engage the community, and how do I make sure the people that are supporting me have the chance to get something back? So that's why a 24-hour stream is interesting because, on a weekday when these guys... So it's always a Tuesday or a Wednesday when a character gets released, and I wind up having to do a 24-hour stream in the middle of the week after, I'm grocery shopping with my parents, my 80-year-old parents. Grocery shopping every week. But
you goddamn sweet son of a gun. I can't... You're too sweet. You're too sweet.
Dom's going to come over there and kiss you on the lips.
I have a car now. I'll come to Connecticut.
Well, just make sure you follow the quarantine guidelines. We'll be fine. They're 6 feet apart.
I can't kiss you.
Sanitize your lips first.
I just like...
just put on some hand sanding on the lips.
I'll like Mad Max Fury Road it with disinfectant spray.
Yeah.
Like,
so
shiny.
From a perspective of, like, let's say we have a... So if you wanted to do a quick recap, X-Force, we're a good team. If you're a new player or you're an experienced player, they definitely fit into your war offense slot very well. The only thing they probably can't beat regularly would be Blackwater. So that's actually an interesting idea, is you have an offense team that is better than the Fantastic Four, and it's not locked behind legendary characters. So I can make a recommendation based on that. The individual characters, while they are good, they made certain characters. Actually, every character in the team is good. The real shining two characters are X-23 by a lot, and then NTW, just right there in probably the mixture. From a perspective of like the new characters, the ones I'm hyped for, Squirrel Girl hype because it was something that my daughter loves, and the fact that we got her the costume, and she's just that ball of energy, and you guys saw it on the stream. So
it was really fun.
Yeah, she's just the personality. She belongs in front of a camera as well. It was really fun. So that was part of the puzzle. I think that Squirrel Girl is a good character. She enhances a lot of teams, but we don't have the team where she really, so there's probably a fifth character who, you could, probably based on the series that she is, it might be Ghost Spider, aka Spider Gwen.
Spider Gwen, yeah,
so
that'd be cool.
So we'll have to see, because it feels like that's the thing that's missing right now. Because OG Spider-Man fits there the best because of the heals. Yes, health. Yeah, there's her expletive deleted. Moment, but that was funny. So then there's the aspect of they have a 20% drain, so I would have liked to have seen that at 30 just because of that. But if you have defense down on a target, then they're going to be able to rip through and just keep healing from a perspective of that. Then if we look at Beast, we look at it as like a lackluster kit, but I think he can fit into a lot of people's rosters. So I don't think he's lackluster. I just think if we're comparing him to to Emma Frost, we're probably not getting as hype. So it's probably part of it is what we thought we were going to get a year ago. Because if you guys
which is also hilarious. I mean, Beast was on the intro screen a while ago. Let us not forget.
Yes,
I got to be honest with you. I kind of see him being a flop, and I don't want him to be. I
think there's a chance to revisit it. We were trying to talk about the three things. So it was the speed he had to have. I wish he gave the team a 2 or 3 turn of the buffs, and the fact that he didn't have the health that I thought he was. That he was so low in the health pool. So the fact is that they're saying that actually with Stark Tech he's going to have higher health. The fact that he has a decent speed, 116 isn't a bad speed at all. But the fact that it's only a 1 turn of buffs, the concern is the only person giving that team, the X-Men, for a raid team, offense down, is Colossus. And Colossus has to take a ton of damage, which he does help with, but he doesn't speed it up enough to where I would be like enthralled with him. So that's one perspective. The next piece of the puzzle is Emma Frost. I think is going to be someone who could potentially be plug and play in a lot of teams. The fact that she's going to slow characters down, you combine her with her own slow, and the fact that other units might slow and stun, it's just going to be insane. So I think that you might see some Marauder raid teams.
I think that'd be interesting.
Probably more so than you might see some X-Men raid teams. So 3 supports this patch, really fun patch. The highlight, the diamond in the rough per se, would, so to speak, would be
nice pun.
It would be
pun intended.
Would be Emma Frost. I think I'm going to go hard for those diamonds. And
I honestly almost. I've been actually contemplating buying a pack for her. I usually don't spend money on this game, and it's not because I don't want to spend money.
I play the game and tell you to do it.
Times is rough, but I just really like Emma.
So you're going to give up your free to play moniker?
Dude.
Ooh, that's the only thing. That's absolutely true.
I mean, I technically am not free to play to begin with. I've spent like at least $300 on my account, but I say free to play. I should say that I live the minnow life.
I don't even think 300 is minnow. I think that's like a.
I have never spent my money on gear. I've never spent it. I think I bought 2 character packs, but I do like holiday bundles. That's usually, if I'm going to spend money, I want something that has value. And I've talked about it.
I mean, we said before that nothing. I think Reman hit it pretty good earlier. Is that the things that they put in the store don't feel like the value, right? And I think that's important,
dude. Come on, you're talking about you're going to bring out Emma Frost, and it's like, do I want Ghost of Tsushima or do I want Emma Frost?
It's
there you go. Maybe you enter my contest and win, because this is what'll work. If you win the contest, you'll win, and somebody else will win. So there you go. So you're not taking anything away from anybody else.
I think it's a brilliant way.
I like it.
Well, we talked about, and to start ending us off here, we talked about the things we like in the game right now. Chef, you talked about how you're actually having a place right now. Rem, you talked about kind of a mixed bag there and stuff. Is there anything in terms of things that you would want to see a little differently to make things a little better for the long haul, for the future?
Yes. I think you're hit the nail on the head there, Rondo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the thing that sucks, right, is that after we just had this conversation, I have not purchased any bundles for X23, and I am so burnt out on Blitz, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I literally could not bring myself to. I think I got maybe like 5 or 6 mil, and I just found myself being like, dude. I was like, dude, I finished those Fun in the Sun milestones like 3 days before the event ended. Dude, I was running like 6 or 7 rotations a day to get that done. And it's just like, it's draining. You know what I mean? And then prior to that, there was another Blitz event right before that I had to go hard on because I wanted all the T14 gear, which was worth it. Yeah. But it wears you down after a while, and it's not, and I'm not a Blitz spotter, so I can't just turn it on and be like, oh, hey, guess what? I don't give a shit.
Well, let me ask a separate question.
Get all the free shit I want.
What's the highest both of you have gotten in any Blitz? Any Blitz? What's the highest? Do you remember?
34. I think I did 34 for Cole.
Right, no, but I mean, like, what is that number? Do you know off the top of your head?
What is that number? In one day, I think it was, 17 million?
So, I'm sorry. Like,
you're talking about the highest I've ever been placed.
No, not placed. The highest amount of points you've accumulated.
Yeah, so it depends. Like, it's hard to say because I only go for the Red Star Blitz on after a featured character because it's an easy goal. So,
right.
I mean, if you wanted to know what I could do with so that's the thing is if you talk about a sim, Rondo, how many of the whales stop buying packs and know that they could just sim their roster to a higher percentage? So that's the question you got to ask yourself.
I still think that they are. Well, I say they. You're so like I still feel like
you spent $300. You're the whale on this podcast.
It's true.
Oh, get out of here.
There's a reason.
I feel like,
before we get into that, there's a reason I asked this because the most points I ever put, I got in the 2% or whatever the hell that scale is, 2 to 6, whatever it is. I got to like 15 million, and that was me going hard, right? That was me hitting nearly every rotation I had, trying to hit everything 8.3, blah 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 blah. And I was like, never again will I ever do this. If they did a Blitz sim and I were to start playing again, I don't give a shit what the whales are doing because it wouldn't make my experience as terrible. And I think that's what's important.
Right, but I see what Reman's saying is that if that could effectively
reduce their income.
Reduce the amount of spending that the whales are doing for those Blitz release characters because they know that they're just with their fat rosters, they can go in there and just dominate the Blitz thing. But the thing for me is that I find that a lot of people, I know a handful of people in Pants of Hulk and what they do for a living, and what their schedules do not permit them to be able to log in every 2 hours or even 4 or 6. They work all day and they make a shitload of money, so it's no skin off their back if they spend $1,000 for a character. Like, it's actually more cost effective for them to just buy the character than it would be for them to take their attention off of work to play this game. So that's the balance there. Someone like myself, I don't make $700,000 a year, so I can't go and just drop $1,000 or $700 on a character. Like, I have to grind them out because that's the style that I play. So I feel like it could be good and bad, but they have to do it because I think that everybody's number one outcry in the game right now is there needs to be a reduction of screen time. Well, no, it's a reduction of screen time. That was one of the biggest things about the Fix MSF movement, was to reduce the amount of time that we are required to play this game to be effective at the highest level of gameplay. And I mean, if you do U7 on D3 or above, man, I mean, it takes me a hot minute to grind through that because I got to do all my energy hits for the day, and I have to blow multiple teams because I'm not god tier like most people that are at that level of play. So for me, I spend a bare minimum of 2 hours a day on the game. One hour in the morning, 30 minutes here and there. Usually, on average, probably 3.5, 4 hours a day on the game. And dude, for a mobile game, that's a lot. And I'm not even blitzing right now. So like, whales don't have that kind of time. So I would be interested to see how it's going to affect things. But
let's back up. Do we have a confirmation Blitz Sim is happening?
So we know that it looks like it's been data mined. We don't know if it's actually
got it.
Well, didn't Valley post a video, or he did a video where like I guess he logged in, and I don't know if that was like a test account or like somebody like whipped together a Photoshop image for him or something, but he logged in and had
the
screen
interface
for it, and it was like all messed out. Yeah, like you know how you log in sometimes and everything's messed up, and like you know it has like the actual line of code like user ID blah 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 goes here and that kind of stuff. Like the wireframe of the UI, like he had a image of that, and it kind of alluded to what it might look like.
Interesting,
but there's been no hard. I mean, like Reman said, it's
so I didn't catch that value.
So.
I'll take a look at it, but I will tell you that there is that you know it's probably one of those scenarios where you got to feel that if it's probably been in development, they're going to try to find a way to make money off of it. Just like ISO 8s were delayed for, almost the better part of a year now.
Yeah.
Which is you know, so you asked me a question. What do I think the current state of the game is? And so if we went back to like Fix MSF, and which is the first time I hung out with you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we talked about where the game is now. I feel like it's in a much better spot. And
oh, I would agree.
100%.
So
100%.
So the thing about it is I like the fact that they kept a roadmap, because I can actually sit there. I can open up the release spreadsheet that Tawna maintains and pretty much predict what the next characters coming to the game are. I feel like that there are some specific things that I wish were different, but nothing that would make me sit there and go, I'm gonna quit the game. The communication has been spot on. I think that the idea that we're getting all this information about the game, the blogs have been relatively robust, unless it's a holiday. That the response to some of the bugs, whether or not we like it or not, has been quick. And obviously there's some things that we can talk about that are bugs/features, like the double cough on Black Bolt. But some people I know use that to win in the arena against Black Order teams. So if you...
That shit happened to me the other day, and I was like, did he just double burp me? And I didn't even know the double burping was a thing.
So there's
that's good to know, though.
Yeah, so the idea behind it is that they're really kind of making those... they make some strides. Is it perfect? No. Obviously, it still feels like there's a higher price for entry. For if you look at the shop, it feels... they feel like a high price, and I think that if you guys don't tune in the Mobile Gamers offer review, where 1,800 people are tuning in live every day, they'll tell you that some of the offers feel like trash because of the fact that there's such a high price. There's no value there. But that's the thing that marketing can probably eventually say, oh, well, these guys are telling us maybe we should try this, and we've started to see some of those $1.99 offers for 50 shards come up that are helping new players round out their roster. So. If a game like this grows, the sky's the limit, and potentially they can probably look more at conversion and stop looking at milking the whales, and then the game becomes a lot more accessible to everyone.
Right.
And then,
there could be a beautiful balance there.
You know, that's the thing about DSA or Disney that I like, is that they do that. What you just said. I mean, they have it anywhere from, they have the $10 packs, they have the $20 packs, 30, 40, 50, up to 100. And it's like, they'll roll out, you know, like at least once a week with this like $20 chest bundle, you know what I mean? And it gives you like the 3 different kinds of chests you can open in the game. And there's a ton, dude. You're getting like 20, 30 shards out of it, different character shards out of this thing. And it's like, that's a good because I play with in a club where there's a bunch of whales, and they love those offers. You know what I'm saying? That thing comes out.
Are you playing with Wiki and Don?
You know. No, I tried, but they were. I wasn't good enough to be in the club. But no, I'm just kidding. I actually got in with this crew called the Exiled Sons, and they're pretty cool. They let me in when I was at low, and we're smashing. It's a fun little casual game. I play it casually. Yeah. I do the Tapjoy offers on the ×2 event days, and I actually am like on Dolphin status, and I haven't spent a dime on the game. And that's one thing that I actually find interesting, right? Is that they don't that I guess that's because Foxnex created this game. However, that is a very Scopely-esque type move that they put that in the game, where you can do these offers where you play these other games that are Scopely branded or they're affiliated with Scopely somehow, and you get a pile of gems, or in this instance it would be cores. I would be very happy if they added that into MSF.
Do you know what Tapjoy is?
Just throwing that out there.
That sounds familiar, but I don't think so.
Tapjoy basically it's an alternative way to earn currency. Basically, you fulfill advertisers' requests, you get the in-game currency. So with this, we'd probably get cores for basically visiting a game, going to like beardclubformen.com, or like
Yeah, they either have those or like they have the ones you can play like Star Trek or.
But this does not exist for MSF.
Right, it existed
MSF.
a lot in other games. I think it was Marvel Contest of Champions, and I think had Tapjoy, and I believe it was in DSA.
Interesting. I mean, I don't think. Yeah. I mean, I know it would be annoying to have ads in the game or doing that shit, but if you can get free stuff out of it, whatever. I don't know. Personally, I don't give a shit.
Well, like so, for instance, I play Scrabble like for like 20 minutes a day, right? And when I hit this one milestone,
wait, Scrabble, like the
gems.
Game Scrabble?
So it's like, yeah, dude, I download like one of the offers. So like every 2 weeks, they'll do this thing where you can get double the amount of because it's an advertising thing, right? So
right. Okay, I'm sorry. I just honestly, I just really like Scrabble.
Run advertisement. Yeah, well, Scrabble's one of the games that's owned by Scopely. Wheel of Fortune and Scrabble are owned by Scopely.
Does
so
like
that's the thing is that
a lot of this their stuff into
cross play stuff that'll give you stuff.
So with the fact that DSA does have all of the predatory, actually, you want to talk about predatory, scummy business moves? Holy shit, they're like infinitely worse than Marvel Strike Force. However, I have the option of taking my free time to play other games that supports them advertising-wise, that benefits me, and I don't have to spend, but I can keep up with people that are spending a large amount of money on the game. So I think that's cool. And I don't know,
but we're going to move on because we're getting late in this. Let's. No, you're good.
Sorry.
I don't have the scheduling focus that Charlie does, so I apologize. Charlie's really good. Like, we gotta go,
dude. But that's just because that's what he does, right? In his job. He's probably sitting there like, come on, guys.
I should be the one that's dropping the hammer here. Charlie sits on his goddamn computer or behind a camera, like, when's lunch? I'm the one that's like, all right, we gotta fucking move. We gotta keep going. So we talked about the thing. I think I know the answer. It seems that we talked a little bit about it in terms of war team advice right now. What do y'all got? It seems like X-Force is a big deal.
Yeah. X-Force,
not just because X is going to give it to you, but
X-Force is a big deal. So if you're going to take X-Force on there, you just want to make sure. We'll go over. I'll do some quick T4 recommendations. So passive on NTW, passive on Domino, passive on X23, and then ult on NTW or Essentials. Going into the team, they can beat quite a few different teams, and it's going to be target selection. The more times you can trigger the speed up from X23 by dropping a character below half is a good deal. Remember, when you actually use X23 to ability block, you're going to get that second attack is always going to land, and always it's not in the kit, doesn't say it in the kit, but it is always going to apply ability block because it's not something that can be resisted by the deflect. So it ignores the deflect and does full damage. So it's a ton of damage. She's a machine. From a perspective of teams they can beat, well, it's Asgard, it's mercenaries in most rooms. Watch out for defense down because that's like their kryptonite is that if they do get hit, they don't have the extra. They're not getting extra hit points like other teams do. But
huge note.
Yeah, so
that's a big note.
And then obviously, I think that you have to just watch out for matchups where if you're looking at your team power and your opponent has a G14 Hela, well, that's something you want to be aware of because maybe that's not going to be an easy win for you because you're looking at the comparative power when realistically you may not be able to do everything you want to do with your team. You're going to get some resists based on that.
It's good to know. I think that defense down bit, I personally, when I was doing war stuff, I never paid attention to what rooms had certain buffs or debuffs, and that bit me a bunch.
Oh, I tell you what, dude, don't take Aimtron into an Asgardian team in the cargo bay because that is like Nightmare City, dude. Because you'll have Chef Crondo luck, and you'll walk in there, and it'll be Thor. No. The last time I did it, that exactly happened. All of them had immunity, and Thor was invis. I was like, what? Like, what on earth am I supposed to do about this right now? Like, he's like the number one stun I need to go for.
Number one stunner. I think it's very important to pay attention to the rooms that you are going into attack. It's definitely an important deal. Don't be like,
like don't punch up too far in security or in a room that is attached to security.
Punch down idea because I think you have to understand what the mechanics. So what you're facing isn't going to be a punch up or punch down because if you have to make sure your team can counter the team based on the merits of the power of each individual versus individual. If you're looking at raw,
I think the punch up, punch down idea is a good guideline, or not even guideline, a good like starting point maybe for certain things. But I think that's a very good point to make. Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, it's just you're going to lose more fights if you just by the virtue of you miscalculated because you have 135k Thor, and you didn't stun him. You didn't land the stun. So
right. I've definitely I've lost teams. I've lost matches of that because I thought my punch up was going to be good enough, but it didn't matter. Yeah, definitely.
You can lose punch downs that way.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh god, I feel like losing a punch down is like the worst feeling. But
so there is a note I want to end on, but before we do, anything else you guys want to throw out there before we throw it out?
There was one little quality of life feature that I was really happy they added to the game, which was the numbers added to the store. And then there also was the Ultimate Store.
Ultimate Store.
Yeah, awesome. Good call. Over. So I
didn't even know that existed.
So there's an Ultra Store. It's called an Ultra Store, and what it is that your Ultimus credits now can either earn you Ultimus orbs or can let you buy a extraordinarily overpriced orange gear orb.
Got it.
Thank you for saying that, Reman, because I opened up one of them, and the first one I opened was a Mystic one, and I got 2 lattices for 10,000 Ultimate shards. Yes, you heard that correct. Oof. Yes. So for the price of 5 Ultimus orbs, I can open up one of these orbs. Now, however, I will say that the catalyst orb was actually far more fruitful. I got 30 advanced damage catalysts, I got 15 SBCs, and I got 15 of the accuracy ones. It's still expensive, but that one was left less of a sour taste in my mouth as the 2 lattices for 10k. But
10,000. Well, yeah,
10,000. Yeah. But the ability to toggle on the feature where underneath an item in the store it actually
oh my god!
For me, it's really nice. Yeah, the inventory.
Now all they need is to toggle on the numbers for your health bars, so you can see how much health you have. Because that would then the game is such in a good place.
I'll see you in 2021.
Yes, you will.
But yeah, I mean I will say, people in here have, if you've listened to the show, you've definitely heard me ranting and bitching about a lot of things in the game. A few times. Yeah. Me? No. But I, as we were saying, I like the directions it's heading in. I hope that they continue on this path. I hope that they keep up the communication. And if they kind of keep this ebb and flow of like releasing a team for war, offense and defense, that's fine. But I do like what Reman was touching on earlier in this conversation about the fact that this patch is 3 support characters that at the current moment are kind of plug and play, minus Emma really. But you can kind of build different.
The least plug and play character. Emma actually only gets. She doesn't get any Marauder specific. She only has a very small textual. Even then, she has a small textual thing for war defense. Otherwise, you could kind of like plug them in a different.
Oh, got it. I understand what you're saying. Okay, yeah.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, totally agree. So, but I like the fact that they're 3 characters that aren't necessarily a full team like the X-Force. That's
a good point, right? You don't have to get all of these.
And they enhance characters already on your roster that, as a new player, maybe you're building up towards. Yeah. This is the first chance you get, and that's what kind of the thing I like is. You guys know what happened to Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, right? Is that like a surprise? We guys ever talk about that?
It was the Revan update, right?
Well, no, more recently they.
Oh, recently.
So more recently,
Star Wars.
There was an incident with Arnold, and then there was a kind of a mass exodus, and then they did this whole release of Jedi Luke, and so people are kind of like, "What's going on with this game?" So
I thought the game. I didn't know the game was still happening. That's how.
So it says happening,
man. A lot of players are coming over, and so they're enjoying this game. They're learning from they're learning that the mechanics here are much better. They're even if they're not as attached to the characters, they like the community better. So it's actually.
Can I tell you one feature that I would love for them to rip from Star Wars? I would love for them to add some kind of raid boss. Like
that would be cool.
Star Wars, where it's like collectively we have to compile our teams to kind of like combat one giant boss that has like multiple phases.
That'd be very
I kind of think that would be fun. I mean, maybe it doesn't work mechanically speaking. Maybe it's like a joke at this point in the game. I don't know, but I kind of like those features in these games. But then again,
I think that's something they can add. So there's a lot of things they're going to be banning about. Is Dark Dimension 4 a thing? Probably. is there going to be so what's coming to this game in the future? Like if I looked at my crystal ball, I think there's probably a room to add more features, but war is not in a good spot still. War matchmaking still sucks unless you're doing what we do and either chase or get chased. This season we fought the 2, the 3, and the 6th alliances as number 4. So because we put it out there, we want a challenge because you can't learn from playing and just beating on whatever else is in your time slot. And so wars themselves are unfulfilling for a lot of people. So as a game mode, considering that it requires so much time, I mean, if you think about it, war is probably even more than Blitz probably requires more of your time. It happens maybe too frequently a week. There's something they have to find kind of a hot button really that would make a difference. But there's a lot of different ways they can make like characters that would be interesting to fight against as a kind of a whole like assembled team.
Sure, and it's kind of we have to do well in it because it's kind of what we get the most rewards from in a sense.
A lion's share of your mini uniques come from there, so that's kind of the big deal. So
yeah. And for me, you can buy Mr. Sinister Shards.
Well, that was a lot of information. I feel like I kind of know a little bit what's going on in the game right now, which is funny because considering I'm not playing.
That's the goal.
That's good.
The goal.
If we're catching you up, That's the new MSF Insiders, the catch-up Dami on what's going on every week.
Before we sign off, I do want to give all of our condolences out to Mr. Free-to-Play. For those who don't know, his daughter, unfortunately, is having some health issues right now, and he's had to take a leave of absence. For those who know, Mr. Free-to-Play, super dope dude. Free-to-play account, has a really cool angle of doing content to show not just like how you could do it just by buying things. He shows you the free-to-play way to do it, and it's very good content, great community, great YouTube stuff. Super cool dude. Also trying to get envoy status right now. And if there's anyone that should do it, it's a cool dude like that. So obviously we wish him all the best with his family health issues, and also continuing forward doing content for this game that we're all playing. So big shout out to him. And again, Reman, thank you so much for hopping into the shoes of Vash. Oh yes, please.
Hey, before you end this, I gotta plug this real quick. My Alliance, The Last Resort. We're looking for 2 people, and we just finished 41st in our war season. Unfortunately, one of our captains is going through some stuff personally, so he's decided to step down. And we just have we have 2 people like that they just got too much going on. So if you're looking for a Alliance, we're looking for anybody that has around 6 million TCP or higher, or around that ballpark range. Hit me up on Discord in the OG podcast server, or you can hit me up at Chef Crondo, hashtag 5818 5818. So I just wanted to plug that because I'm interested. So I might as well use my resources.
Cut my life into pieces.
Oh
this is my last.
Why are you doing Papa Roach right now?
My last reason. You know what? Oh my God! Dude,
so thank you so much, everyone, for coming. This is the Overachievers Gaming Podcast, Marvel Strike Force Inside Edition, episode 32, with me, Ash Pastrami, Chef Crondo, RemanX filling in for Vash. You can find us at beanoverachiever.com, Instagram og.podcast, Twitter overachieversp, all your streaming platforms. You can find RemanX on twitch.com/RemanX, YouTube at RemanX Force, I think.
YouTube at RemanX, Twitch TV RemanX, and Twitter RemanX Force.
RemanX Force on Twitter. All right. Thank you so much, Reman. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We will be back again in really whenever Charlie gets back.
Cool. You can hang out for a little bit here?
Yeah, I'm going to.